You know, when you think about the ideal first game as a Real Madrid manager, you think of maybe an easy home game, maybe against Celta Vigo, or maybe even Granada, or maybe if you're feeling a wee bit spicy, you could face Levante. You definitely wouldn't think of the Madrid derby away from home. At least it's not the El Clasico, but I think that the fans are going to start to hate me before the season has even really started. Hey guys, and welcome to the third episode of the FM21 Real Madrid Save, where today we are playing our first two games in the La Liga season, where we are facing Atletico Madrid in the Madrid derby, and then, bringing it back home against Elche. Honestly, this is going to happen a lot this season. There's some teams I know how to pronounce, Getafe, Granada, they're pretty easy, but Cadiz, that's just, it's too difficult for my New Zealand brain. If you guys are enjoying the series so far, make sure that you have smashed that like button. Can we please get 8 likes on this episode to continue the amazing support on the series? And make sure that you have subscribed for daily Football Manager videos with this series, as well as some team transfer guides on the way very, very soon. But for now, our focus is playing this Atletico Madrid side, and it is away from home. It's definitely not the easiest game we've ever been dealt, and we don't have too many easy games as we lead up to the end of, the start of November, and we face Barcelona in our first ever away leg. So that's definitely going to be something that we'll be looking to feature in a future episode, maybe even the next episode, but it just depends on how well I do. And as you can see here, setting up for this first game, we're losing Karim Benzema and Eden Hazard, as well as Toni Kroos. So we have done a wee bit of rotation. We only have one debutant because, to be honest, as you all know, if you didn't see the last episode, we only brought in one player, and that was Paulo Dybala. To be fair, if you're going to bring in one player, Paulo Dybala. Look, apparently I just can't say names either. Paulo Dybala is certainly one of those players that you would want to be bringing him. Playing him out on the right-hand side is a bit of an interesting choice, I will admit. We will move him into the centre if he ends up not doing quite as well as we would have hoped out in that position. But as I said in the last episode, it does mean that we have filled the bench with quite a few youngsters that are really never going to make it into the squad. And Benzema and Hazard are on our bench but aren't recommended to play. So if we get really desperate, they'll be coming on is my goal for this game. But we're rolling with a pretty tidy squad either way. And you know what, we're going to jump straight into the tactical analysis so that we can jump into this game. We're going with the Gegenpress to start things off. It did well for us in pre-season. God, go back out of it now. Gosh, that was absolutely pointless. We see that we got some good results and 1-1 draw against Bayern. I mean, this 2-6 loss against Juventus wasn't great, but I think the fact that Casemiro got sent off after 11 minutes may have something to do with it, but we can't really put all of the blame on it. And we did rotate our squad quite heavily with players such as Vasquez playing in the starting 11, which is not exactly what we want to be seeing, but I mean, they did do the dirty on us. But overall, it was a pretty good pre-season using this tactic. We're moving down to a balanced mentality. Apparently, I can't pronounce English words at the moment either. Balanced is the pronunciation, in my opinion. So I think that that's going to hopefully make sure that even away from home, we don't push too much and just, make sure that we still create those opportunities for ourselves. So the starting 11 for today's game is Jovic as a complete forward. We've got Asensio on the left-hand side, Isco, Dybala, Casemiro, Modric, Carvajal, Ramos, Varane, Mendy and Courtois in between the sticks, with quite a few tasty players on the bench, including Militao, Marcelo, Valverde, Odegaard, who was very close to starting this game. But I think that Isco just has the edge, especially with the experience that he does bring. And as I said before, quite a few youngsters that I'm really hoping we aren't forced to bring on. And we're going to have to give a squad number to quite a few players. And you know what? I'm gonna give Dybala a good one. And there's not many good numbers, is there? Let's go 16. He likes 10. Luka Modric has 10. I'm sorry, but you're not getting 10. 16? It's not a good number, is it? It's really not a good number. 20. 20 better? It's double 10. Let's go with that. That makes sense to me. We're not giving a random CDM number 6. It's just not happening. I'm sorry about it. It's not happening. Submit those numbers. And let's jump into the first episode. The first game of the Real Madrid save, and it is against Atletico Madrid. Have I mentioned that yet? I'm not sure if I actually have, but we're going to show us what we can do early on in this season. And we take a look at the squad that we are facing today. There are some nice players in there. No new transfers, I don't believe. A couple of former Real Madrid players, so a bit of a battle between the war there. Is that the phrase? I think I've used that phrase quite a few times, and I'm not completely sure if it is the correct way to use it. But as we can see right now, we haven't played a single game. A couple of teams have, and that does mean that we are sitting down in mid-table. You know, exactly where we want to be at the start of the season, obviously. I'm joking. Please do not get upset about that if you are a Real Madrid fan. And I always forget that you have to do this at the start of each save. Turning off extended highlights, because we ain't got all the time in the world. Our lives are very short. Move the match speed up a wee bit, and turn the match speed all the way up during non-highlight times. Who needs to see that? I've got, again, limited amount of time in each day. Not a lot of life to live. I want to see the banging stuff, and we want to actually take a look at the Atletico Madrid formation, and it's a interesting one with a couple of defensive players in there, inverted wingers, and some complete wingbacks in there as well. So maybe they're going to be trying to attack from the back, because it does seem like they are pretty defensive. I think their main two outlets are going to be those two players up front, Felix and Suarez. I mean, you would expect that with Suarez. But the first chance of the game looks like it might be going our way, with Varane on the ball, playing out to Mendy, into Casemiro, up to Asensio, into Jovic, who was on his debut and he scored his first ever goal for Real Madrid. And if he can keep doing that, we will not need to bring in another striker. I mean, we will, because I've realised how many spots we have to fill on the bench. I'm probably just going to sign a bunch of cheap players, but that is a brilliant start to the season with a great finish by Jovic to start off his managerial career. What's going on with my English? Like, it's just not making logical sense. His playing career in Real Madrid. This is his first game. I'm pretty sure. Carrasco coming at us now though hits the post, and I'm pretty confident that Courtois had that one covered. There was never a doubt in my mind about that. But 2 shots to their 3. It does look like a fairly even game. Maybe that goal that we did get could have been slightly against the run of play. They do seem to be coming back into it quite easily in the second half of the first half. But going into halftime, we are crucially ahead, and we're not going to get complacent out there. That is the important thing, because it is clear that this side are just as good as us, if not better, in this home game, because of, you know, actually having a manager that knows what they're doing. But 60 minutes gone and we're still not doing bad. Unfortunately, Dybala not having the best debut, and I'm actually going to try and change that up, because I want to see this man scoring goals. And I think moving him to a shadow striker. Now let's keep him as an attacking midfielder. Isco can do a job out on that right hand side as well, you know. So we're going to give that a crack. See what happens. Just mix it up for the next few minutes, and I think we're going to make a substitution in the form of Valverde coming on. He can play as that deep line playmaker now, surely. Nah, he's actually quality at that. So bringing on a youngster, taking off an absolutely experienced player. Why am I doing that again? Remind me why that makes logical sense. Don't actually know, but that's our substitution. And Dybala's already picked up a knock. You know what? At the risk of getting any more injuries, we're taking him off, and we're going to bring Odegaard on in that position. Yeah, the English is not going great today. I will admit, it's a flustered, it's a very stressful occasion. You got to cut me some slack here. 15 minutes ago, and we have not seen a single highlight in the second half. And I tell you what, I'm fine with it. I do not need to see a single highlight as long as we come away with all 3 points. It's been a one chance game, and I can live with that one chance. It was one chance for us. I just remembered that they actually got a chance at some point as well. So I don't need your judgment. I don't need your judgment. I couldn't come up with another word for judgment, to be honest. But I don't need it. Whatever you're throwing my way. I feel like Casemiro also probably needs to come off. In just not great English, is it? But I don't really know who to bring on. None of these youngsters are particularly impressive. So I don't really want to have to bring them on. I think that Blanco is the only man that makes sense to bring on in this situation. Box-to-box midfielder, he can do it. He's probably not going to be scoring a goal, but this man is going to be absolutely licking his lips at the opportunity to be playing in an Atletico Real Madrid derby. The Madrid derby would have been an easier way to say it, and he could be getting all 3 points in the game if we hold on for the last few minutes. But there's one more chance, and if it's our chance, I'll live with it. But if it's their chance, I think I'll have a mental breakdown due to stress. But Asensio's on the ball for now, so it's looking promising. Plays it back to Valverde, who moves it forward back to Asensio, linking up very well at this point in time. Odegaard back into Jovic, but he can't get onto the end of it. And it could be Atletico Madrid breaking away here. Suarez is throwing goal. He knows how to finish, and he shoots it just wide. And in the last few seconds, Atletico Madrid could have salvaged a point where we have gotten all three. That is a beautiful way to start a managerial career as the Real Madrid manager. It was a beautiful win. It was, it was a professional job. We didn't absolutely dominate. We came here, we got the win, we got the points, we did what we needed to do. And Mendy was the man of the match, which shows that we defended well. And I don't know if that's a huge positive. Well, of course, defending well is a big positive, but I don't know if that's exactly what we want. But you know what? We got 6 shots. We got 56% possession. Maybe we need to work on actually getting those chances created and finishing those chances. But for now, I think that's definitely a good way to start the season. We're up in 8th place. You can't complain about that. Dybala's injured, so you can complain about that. And you can complain about the lack of transfers. So speaking of which, I'm going to go try and do some. And surely if we've just beaten Atletico Madrid, Elche, or however you pronounce it, they're going to be a walk in the park at home. Right? Correct? Welcome to the club, Fernandinho. Now calm down. I know that we don't really need a central midfielder, a central defensive midfielder, but we do need a centre-back, and he covers all those bases, so I think it's a brilliant signing for only £6 million. Come on, boys and girls, it's Fernandinho. He's a magic player. He's got amazing stats. 35 years of age, yes, I admit. He's probably going to retire within the next 2 years. But Fernandinho, he's a brilliant player to sit on the bench, which sounds less impressive. But for only £6 million, I think he's an absolute steal. And we're going to jump straight into this next game against Elche. And hopefully we'll come away with another win. You know what, this time we're even going to go on to a positive mentality. The only change that we've made for the starting lineup is that we have moved Dybala into central attacking midfielder. Isco is now an inside forward on support. And Asensio is now a winger on an attacking duty. Aside from that, is the exact same. If it's good enough to beat Atletico Madrid, surely it's good enough to beat a team that we have never heard of in our entire lives. Fernandinho is going to get number 17 on his shirt. And we're going to jump into the first game at home for the season. Is it sad that I don't even know the name of the stadium? It's just Bernabeu. I did actually know that. I just needed some sort of a refresher. I'm really not boding well for the people that are watching this series that are actually Real Madrid fans, am I? They're probably hating me already. And you know what? I can respect it. After 5 minutes, it looks like we are going to be the dominant side, 61% possession. They've had a shot, to be fair to the boys, but I think that we're going to come away with a chance any minute now. Jovic has already picked up a knock. Luckily for us, we do have Benzema back from his injury, but I don't think that Jovic is exactly going to need to come off just yet. We'll keep him on there for a wee bit longer. Apparently Dybala's tired as well, so that's not exactly ideal, but we'll see what happens. It's probably because Dybala got injured in the last game and probably started this game being quite tired, and I probably should have checked that before I started this game, but I've never said I'm good at this game, so that's my excuse for everything. 25 minutes gone, and we've had a couple of opportunities. No goals yet, though, obviously, because it says 0 up in the top left-hand corner, but we definitely are peppering that goal, just putting a wee bit of salt on it, grilling it on the grill, and I'm hoping that we do find the back of the net at any point in time before half-time. It's not going to happen, though, is it? 2 minutes of additional time, and it goes by very quickly. We're not seeing a huge amount of highlights. I'm far from pleased with the performance I've seen so far. We're going to try and keep Dybala on for a wee bit longer. I don't really want to strain Jovic, though. So I'm going to bring Benzema on and hope that he can come away with a goal to give us the win tonight. It should really be like a 3-0 win here, but doesn't seem to be going that way at this point in time. Maybe we will have to switch up how we are getting the ball into attacking situations. I do think that is the main problem at the moment, not the actual finishing. We have enough quality to be finishing our dinner left, right and centre, but perhaps the opportunities aren't actually the best in the world, and maybe that's why we're not finishing those shots that we are getting. For all we know, they're all from outside of the box. I'm sure there's a way to check that, but again, I'm not good at this game, so you got to cut me some slack here. They're on the ball, and you know what? They could be coming away with an opportunity. Elche, we can't be underestimating them. They've had a couple of shots. They're playing against Real Madrid. not doing a bad job at all. But Isco has now played it through to Benzema, who comes on off the bench and scores his first goal of the season. And that is why you need Benzema back in the lineup. Exactly what we needed from him off the bench. Experience, quality, composure. Apparently not much match sharpness, but I don't care about your match sharpness, and neither does Benzema. He puts it into the back of the net, and Isco has done a pretty good job to play that ball through. And I'm hoping that means that he's going to continue to play all right in that right-hand side role. But we are going to make our second substitution. And how is Benzema already injured? I'm not okay with any of that. We're going to bring Odegaard on and hope that he can play out the rest of the game and not get an injury. But Benzema's injured. Don't actually have a plan for who's going to come on instead. I still want to make this Odegaard switch, but I guess I'm just going to have to make it later. And Dybala's going to have to go up top for a wee period of time. Come on. I was stoked that he scored the goal. How long is he going to be out for? As long as it's less than 2 months. Nah, that's too long. Even that's too long. But 2 months at the most I can live with. Modric is now in. What's going on here? Okay, yes, I get that half of our players are aging. But I can't afford to make this many substitutions. Dybala's dying over here as well. I think Fernandinho's got to come on because Dybala's not got an injury at the moment. He's just knackered, like really, really tired. Like if you've just worked a 10-hour shift and then you have to clean your entire house. That was a terrible analogy, but it kind of made sense. Asensio on the ball, playing it over to Carvajal, who's going to line up a shot, I believe. Actually decides to go with the run, and he somehow has won what is a penalty shout. But I'm not going to go as far to say that that's a penalty because it looked like a clean tackle to me, and it's not a penalty. See, is it just me, or has Football Manager increased the amount of penalty shouts that we're seeing that especially aren't penalties? I just don't need to see them. I don't need them in my life. We have done a really good job defensively, but it's clear that our weak point at this point in time is attacking. We're getting opportunities, we're getting those shots away, but it doesn't seem like we're putting them all into the back of the net. Obviously, with only a 1-0 win against this side, it's not the best performance ever. I'm going to tell them that we should have won by a better margin. I'm not happy with the performance, but it's clear that it didn't go down an exact treat. You know what? I'm going to tell them I was impressed. I was pleased with the defensive effort, and now they've become even more devoted. But I was pleased with your defensive efforts. I wasn't pleased with the attacking efforts. I'm just happy that no one's gotten too upset with me over that and had a chat to me. But Fernandinho's had his wee Atletico Madrid. It's not Atletico Madrid. See, again, I'm going to be crucified by Real Madrid fans by the end of this series. Mendy is absolutely starring the show at the moment. Getting 2 Player of the Match awards. He's rocking that out on that left back role. Maybe our attackers need to be doing a wee bit more of whatever he's doing. Injuries, not exactly our favourite thing at the moment, and especially considering the fact that you need 12 players. Yeah, this is going to be a long season. We need to make some bids for players just like we have done right now for Memphis Depay, a player that we loved in the Arsenal save. We're also keeping an eye on Diallo because he's a really cheap one as well. I'm just kind of looking forward to like 10-15 million pound sort of players that we will be able to turn over for a profit and aren't too old. That's kind of the plan at the moment. That's basically what we have in our shortlist at this point in time. This man not being one of the best options, but that's the general plan, to absolutely fill out the squad, because that is kind of what we need to be doing, especially with all the injuries that we're getting at this minute in time. But at least we won our first 2 games, and at least we're going to be jumping into the rest of the transfer window with a wee bit of confidence. So make sure you do not miss the next episode, where we will be wrapping up the transfer window, which is on the 6th of October, because that makes logical sense. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you do like and subscribe if you have enjoyed the content. Make sure that you do not miss the next episode, as I just said before. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I'll see you all later.